Alright, let's just do this. I just had to shout some things into the void. That is my YouTube channel. And so let's just get right into it. The NSO games. Um, I have some thoughts. This is a topic that has been discussed at length. I think overall people have been more on the side of negativity, but in recent years, I guess people have cooled a little bit, have started to be a bit more positive on um, the NSO offerings because Nintendo kept, well, as you can see here, I have an article from Nintendo Live that chronicalized all all the NSO games. And yeah, GBA is a topic specifically that I want to discuss. Um, but yeah, again, people have cooled a bit of their hate, of their anger towards NSO and its pricing, um, because Nintendo has expanded it quite a bit ever since introducing it in I think 2018 or something. Uh, Maybe quick little recap. Nintendo Switch Online is Nintendo's paid online service that you need to pay for in order to have access to online play, which I think is a thorn of gamers in gamers' eyes for a long time, ever since uh, Xbox introduced it. Personally, I think none of the three major companies should charge for online. The revenue to make that possible should be just coming in through game sales and system sales, in my opinion. Um, but it is what it is. Maybe one day they'll reverse course, but Nintendo just started charging for online, and I don't think they're gonna stop anytime soon. And since online play alone isn't really something that would make most people pay for a subscription like that, these companies and Nintendo, of course, as well, offer additional content such as retro games or, in Nintendo's case, game trials or whatever. Yeah, how does this work exactly with pricing? There is two categories. There is basic NSO and there is NSO plus expansion pass. Basic NSO is $20 a year or €20 a year, and the expansion pass is expansion pack, I guess, is $50 a year and €40 annually. Which means in Europe, it's when that whole thing was announced that the pricing for NSO plus expansion pack was announced. It felt not as much as a gut punch as in the US, because for us it was just okay. You're gonna basically double up, and you get, I guess, double the content, which more or less, which in the States felt more like you're gonna pay more than double now, and you're not getting that much more. You'd expect if it's more than double, then it would be significantly more, but wasn't that significant. And yeah, personally, didn't feel a sting that much because, well, I'm in the EU, so I was like, okay, doubling it, but I get more systems, so that's fine for me. And I would have gotten that Mario Kart expansion anyways, and fine for me. Okay, so uh, that was just a recap. That's very much known. What I wanted to talk about is sort of my issue with what we see here, Game Boy Advance games. Um, a big topic is that these games get drip fed, and Nintendo doesn't really like keep to a certain schedule. These just, you might just wake up and there is a couple more games announced or even released. Uh, which is fine. You know, shadow drops are cool, are exciting, and they drop a cool little new trailer that you haven't really seen, and that's all fine and dandy. I personally like that. I like to see the new trailers. I like to be kind of surprised. Oh, this game I can just play now. It's a bit more annoying if it's like, oh, next week this game comes out. I think they do this for N64 games and maybe GBA games, the NSO Plus games, which I think is a bit, I think, unnecessary. It's like, why build hype for something? I don't know. Maybe they hope to get some more attention online, and maybe someone gets pushed over the edge in a week and upgrades the subscription, something like that. But I think it's just, I think these games are more for people to keep the subscription rather than people to upgrade the subscription, in my opinion. For me, that's a big deal, right? Because I'm actually playing quite a bit of these games right now. I'm playing the Pokemon card game, and and I'm also playing the Oracle games, which have been released just like a couple of weeks ago, back to back, basically, these games. And yeah, as you can tell, they're not on here. They're not Game Boy Advance games. They're Game Boy games, and Game Boy games are um, they're in the basic tier, but I do have the expansion tier, and I would like to get some of these Game Boy Advance games that have been promised almost a year ago, maybe even no, almost a year. I think it was in September when they were promised. And of these, really just Fire Emblem released, and I think I'm all over the place right now with my thoughts because I'm just blabbing on. But this is why I wanted to make this video now. Now I'm getting a bit more on track again. Um, just one game, and I think, yeah, it's Fire Emblem. That's the only game that was promised. It was promised. We were promised Fire Emblem, Kirby, F-Zero, and Golden Sun. And of these games, almost a year later, only Fire Emblem has released. I know that's not the only GBA game they added. They also added wait a sec, Metroid. Where's Zero Metro? I think they're missing Zero Metro. Whatever. Wasn't Zero Mission? Maybe I'm wrong, but I think Zero Mission is also upcoming. Whatever. Um, where was I? Yeah, of these games that were promised, really just Fire Emblem. So I guess 1, 2, 3, 4 games were promised. You'd think quarterly these games come out, but just to get one game, I'm guessing maybe another game comes out until September of these games. I think that's kind of ridiculous, and it's pretty annoying. And yeah, it's not all the games that came out for GBA. I think some of the old Super Mario games, which that was fine. I think some people were annoyed because there's already like other versions on NSO of these games, and I think I'm countering to that with a little bit of like, I think NSO is the place to throw out all these versions of games. Just give the people like options, and I think that gives NSO just more value. But I think those should be on top as like surprises and like bonuses, rather than like instead of these games that were promised, which is kind of what it feels like, right? They promised us 4 games, and instead they gave us like 1 game and a couple of Mario games that we already had, and that's a bit of a problem, I feel. I think it looks better when you look at the offerings for N64. As you can see, there's quite a bit more games here, which of course this library has been building longer than the GBA library. But here also, I think we were promised these games in addition to the Pokemon Stadium games and Mario Party and Pilot Wings, and maybe even Wave Race, like almost a year ago. And there's still like 3 games missing, and one of them is a Mario Party when they already managed to put out 2 Mario Party games, mind you, on the same day, I think. And that's like a bit weird. I think Nintendo has a bit of an issue. They have like a identity crisis with NSO right now because they kind of don't know how to handle it. I feel like they're struggling with the financial situation, I guess, and the value proposition of NSO. To them, these games could have all been separate eShop games, but they chose steady revenue over like a spike in sale once, and then it just drops off a cliff because I mean, first of all, the eShop is flooded anyways, and their own games would also get flooded, and they would flood indie games, and that's why I think they chose to like, okay, let's not just throw these games on the eShop. They'll get some hype. We'll put out a trailer. People will buy them, and then probably as time goes on, you'll have a bit of a plateau with the sales for these older games. Don't get me wrong, I would prefer if these games were on the eShop separately as well, just for people to have more options, because options are always good. I think I personally would have chosen this subscription service because I just I'm kind I'm oh well I guess that's the video for now.